Hello and welcome to the Pitt Rivers Museum.
It's so heavy.
Welcome to behind the scenes at the Pitt Rivers Museum for this episode of Making the Pitt Rivers Museum. You've heard from a lot of us already before. I'm Becky Martin. I'm joined by Chris Morton, the project PI, and Beth Hodgett, our project researcher. And we're here today with Phil and Madamwin. Phil is a sixth-generation bronze caster from Benin City in Nigeria, and he's been working with the Making the Museum project to talk to us about lost wax bronze casting, but also the museum's commissioning a new piece from him to add to our collection. So, Phil, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your craft?
Oh, thank you. My name is Phil Omadawe. I'm a sixth-generational bronze caster from Benin City. We have 11 families in Benin that has the blessing of the palace to practice this traditional bronze casting Benin. My family is one of the families approved by the palace to practice it. And my family has been in the bronze tradition for over 500 years, from the reign of Oba Esige till now. We've been it. It's been passed from father to son.
Wow. So, Phil, you were telling us that you really started, you can't remember when you started making work because you were so little and you used to crawl into the workshop as a child. Can you tell us about your earliest memories of growing up around the workshop?
Maybe before when I was 10. But when I was a baby, I started crawling to the workshop because I was born in the house that has our foundry. So just in same compound. So I don't know the actual year I started, but I believe I started when I was a baby, in terms of maybe trying to destroy the works my father. So, wax is very fragile. I can just go there, maybe because of the beauty or so, I just pull it. So I can't really say the damage I've done, but that of my son, that I know. So that was how I started. Then at about 10, I started making sort of like a mask like that of the Queen, though it was not
copying what your father you were seeing in the workshop.
So my father would just give me some mist clay, say work with this. So that I started. So before I got to 15, I developed that interest. So trying to work even for commercial purpose, but my father tried to discourage me that I should go to school because he saw the way he saw that I was so focused on doing it, and he knew by the time I got attracted to this, it will disturb my education. He tried to stop me, but he couldn't.
But he wanted you to work in the bronze foundry, didn't he? He did want you to continue the tradition.
No, because of my education.
Yeah.
So he never wanted me to have the interest at my tender age.
Yes. Right. Get an education and then come back to the foundry, right.
But I was more interested in the bronze than in my education.
You said that your second son, you're hoping that he's going to do the same. He's going to have his education and then come back and come back to the foundry.
Yes.
Can you tell us about continuing the tradition in the future generations?
Normally, I have two sons. They are supposed to continue after me. But my first son is here in the UK, is married here, so he did his master's here. So I don't see him coming back to the workshop with the way, his family is here already. And my second son will be graduating in the coming weeks. Yes. So he came to me before I left Nigeria that he would like to come back to the workshop after his degree program. So I was so happy. So I now need to encourage him to make him sit and do the job. And I'm so happy he's coming back. He came voluntarily. I didn't go to him.
And will his accountancy training be helpful for the business?
Yes. Yeah, again, you see, because one thing about by the time one is doing something, not like to those that believe, to the Christians, it said, by their fruit we shall know them. If you are doing something and the one is not making progress, it will discourage them from coming into it. But they see the progress I've been making, getting commission work from museums all over the world. So I believe that one has aspiring to come back to this bronze business.
Because you spoke this morning a bit about the challenges of getting people interested and how it seems quite easy to kind of go into a different career path and, like you say, kind of make that money quite quickly. So it sounds like there's options now where bronze casting is really seen as a very attractive, or could be an attractive career prospect for people.
Yes, there are so many things that will make it to be more attractive for a future generation. One, like I said before, by the time they see you struggling with what you are doing, because broadcasting is capital intensive and it's time taking, you have to be very patient if you want to remain in it. Or that by the time you do a work that is not good and you deliver, if it's not good, your client will not be happy. And next time they will not ask you to make another piece. So patience is very important. The work is tedious and it's capital intensive. Then for the younger generation, see, most of them, they just want the money, quick. So the money is not the most important thing is for you to do a good job. Let your client be happy with what you are doing. So with that, it will give you more works. Then, like I said this morning, the younger generation, they are not willing to, that patience is not there. They just want something they do today, tomorrow they get the money. So that's why to go into all those social vices, internet fraudsters. There are so many Benin. So they don't like, to come to the workshop because they believe by the time they all with their computer, they can scam people. So it's really encouraging. I do talk to them, but I see a few with me that are still working with me. When my father was alive, we were over 50, but now we are less than 20.
And brass casting historically has been based on the very well-known street in Benin City, Ugun Street, which leads down from the palace.
Yes.
And could you maybe say a little bit what it's like there today and maybe your memories of what it was like in your grandfather's and father's days? Has it changed a lot?
Ugun Street, that name Ugun Street, is a street meant for the broadcasters. Then there's a musician in Benin, Leto Samore. He used to sing a song that Ugun Street that is known for broadcasting. But today, if you should go to Ugun Street, even from the entrance, you'll see a garage. It meant not to be so. When the Oba allocated that section for the bronze gate, it was meant for the broadcasters alone. But now you see beer parlors along Ugun Street, dominating the craft shop. About 15 years ago, you hardly find other businesses along Ugun Street. But now other businesses are taking over the shops. And you see in their shops what was supposed to be broadcast, but now you see woodwork mixed with bronze. Even the percentage of works in most of their galleries bronze is just about 30. In some bronze is even about 15%, whereas it's supposed to be 100% bronze. So these are just changing, but not for the better anyway.
And you still have a shop on Ugun Street,
yes,
and but your workshop is now elsewhere, is that right?
Yes. My grandfather moved from Ugun Street because Ugun Street could no longer contain everybody. So he built his house around the Oba Market Road, about 5 minutes from the palace. So he settled there. Then there my father worked with him, and I worked there before I moved. I moved about 70 years now from that place to where I work now. So my son can decide to relocate to as far as he's working and as far as it's within Benin. And again, if you are not part of the guild and you are not in a group, you're working anywhere, they have a task force, they come and close down the place. So because I have the right to do it, so I can do it anywhere in Benin.
And you were telling us earlier that you would be able to recognise, your father, your grandfather's works.
Yes.
It's not necessarily that they have, a mark or a signature on them, but you would know what they were. And could you talk a little bit about, your memories of their work, but also why that has been lost, or that knowledge has been lost over time?
You see, before 1897, the works that were made then, I believe our fathers then knew who did this, who did that. So because of the eviction from 1897 to 1940, that's about 17 years. So there was a distortion. So it could not continue. And people were losing, and the works even left the works even left Africa to Europe. So not just 70 years, for a long time, not until about 2-3 years ago, we never had access to see all these works. Just like when I came last week, you opened the case.
Yeah.
I took some pictures, and in Berlin 3 or 4 years ago, they opened their storage for me to see works. When I saw, I don't know if I'm even amazed that like what they have in Berlin is even more than what they have in British Museum. Except maybe they have so many in their storage that wasn't displayed.
So yeah, it was a very emotional visit to the British Museum we had a couple of days ago. What did it feel like to see those works on display?
As a Benin person, the son of the soil, someone from the gate, because when you see our works on display, you say that's our life, that's our history, So normally, I feel emotional when I see them. That's just it. I feel emotional, and again, the way those works are being displayed, and the way they kind of caption them, the inscription they put on there, not right. I see many of these works are not just maybe museum pieces; they are altar pieces. So by taking them out of their the contents, and bringing them to these other parts, it's like it's a disservice, because some of these works are functional objects, not just a mere work, ritual pieces. Just like the bear. The bear is something that's supposed to be used for the altar every day. To talk to your ancestors. First of all, you must ring the bell. Like the head, the tusk, they are altar pieces. Though they are not supposed to be in the glasses. They are not supposed to be in the glasses, yes. But on the altar, with rituals every day.
We have one of the bells that you made right here.
It's wonderful to hear them. And when you were ringing them in the museum, that was a really wonderful moment to get to hear them all making that beautiful sound.
Thank you.
You also in the British Museum, we talked a little bit about the way in which the plaques were displayed, and you were saying that because the plaques tell a story of the history, but they've been all mixed together so that the history was kind of out of order. And I wondered if you could tell us a bit about that.
You see, like the way the plaques were displayed at the British, or the way it's displayed, is that they don't display it for the public to come and see. So we have different obas. Like I told you today, we had close to 70 obas that reigned before 1897. Because when people talk about Benin history, they always say from the start point of 1897, which is very wrong. So the Benin Kingdom has reigned for about over 2,000 years before 1897. So narrating Benin history from 1897, I think is very wrong. And then you see with the way those plaques are displayed, normally the way it was in the palace, they were displayed on the wall, especially from the reign of Oba Esige. That was when they really started making plaques. Because commissioned the guild to start making plaques because of the way he ascended the throne. Because so much conflict. That is why Queen Idia is murdered. The way he fought, the way she fought, in order to ensure her son ascend the throne. So and that's why he gave that mother the title of Queen Adia. So that was the first time a queen mother was given that title because of the way his mother fought for him. So after his ascension, he now asked her, you can see most of those plaques you see there, you can see what they are depicting about because they fought, basically fought so many battles. You can see most of those plaques are representing basically the battles he fought, his achievements and all. That's what you see there. So if maybe plaques were made before there, maybe they were to be arranged. You see them placed before that of Obasigi. And you see after 1897, we couldn't just stop. We see the what we still do now represents our current history, just like the one you asked me to do. So that is after or let's say after 1897 or during 1897. But all the stories we have in our plaques or in other objects are just before 1897.
It just felt very violent, the way that the plaques were being, not only that they've been stolen and then put on display in England, but also the fact that they're not even displayed properly. Then they're mixing up the story and they're not telling the history properly. That just felt like a kind of a continued insult, really.
Yes. You see, we've been talking about restitution and reparation of our works. You see, by the time you go to the British Museum and see the way it's like more insults on us because they just display them randomly just for people to see. So I don't think that is acceptable to a monarch because we are under the monarch. I don't think that is acceptable to us because, and again, there's no way they can get a Benin person to maybe collaborate with them on the arrangement. So that's not possible because all we're calling for is a reparation.
And, you know, we've been talking a little bit whilst you've been here about why it's so important to have these objects back in Benin City, right? And, you know, partly having ownership over cultural heritage, but also thinking about inspiring that next generation and making sure that people can see the value of bronze casting as a tradition. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, one of the importance of returning the work back to us, one, like I said before, is not just because we want them to be repatriated. Many of these work are altar pieces. So by taking them out of their community contact, you do a disservice to them. That's just the major. Let's leave the gate for now. You do a disservice to them by taking out. You see, some of these altars in the palace are still empty. They are still empty today. So because the palace is believing the ancestors that this will be returned to them one day. Will be returned. And again, like from the information that I got from the palace, it's not that this job, by the time they return, there need to be a collaboration between museums where they have been kept and the palace. Some of this work can still be, it can be on loan to the museums for them to display. We need this work to be displayed in the museums in Europe. We need them. So because as a way of advertising Benin, and then we have our children here in diaspora. So some have not been to Benin, some have not even come to Benin in their lifetime. But when these works are here, they will have easy access to come and look at them. Then for people back home, one of the reasons we want these works to be returned, like I've had the opportunity to visit many museums, and the privilege to see them and handle them, just like what we did last week. I had access to them. So it's different from one that looks at it from the catalog, just seeing the front view. Like I told you before, the first bell I was commissioned to make, there were so many errors. So by the time I got to, it was in Zurich, so they now brought it out from the case. Oh, I now saw it all. So before I corrected that mistake. So seeing these works, it will give us a different perspective, and it will encourage some of us to encourage some of us.
Because we take it for granted in Europe that we'll have got the history of our art in our museums and galleries for our students to learn from and to understand,
Yes.
the history and to be inspired
Yes.
by. So, what can you say about what it would mean with some of these really important historical art objects to be there in Benin City for that young generation to be able to see so much more easily?
Yeah. No, when these works are there in Benin, that's what you meant.
Yes.
When they are returned. You see, students can come to the museum and learn about their history. Because these works are not just made artwork, they are our history. I mean, the best way we could document, because there was no photograph, no authors to write our history. So by the time you see this work, you see our history. By the time you see a very good historian, like Patrick Orosaye, then Godfrey, because they are historians, they are specialists, and Patrick is very close to the palace. He has so much information.
And do you think it will be good for the bronze casters in Benin to have important works of art on this public display in the city? Do you think it will help
Yes,
with
it will.
the industry,
Yes, it will. It will. It will.
I think there's also a related question, because earlier in the week we heard a presentation from someone who is making 3D printed replicas, and often conversations about repatriation, people are always saying, what about replicas? And you have very strong feelings about that, and I
Yes.
wonder whether you might want to tell us a bit about that.
Like they already have moved, I think it was in silicon, some of these works. So they said they would like me to take the most. So we are still talking on that, back to Benin, and reproduce those works for them, which is understandable. But by you taking our work, we have been complaining, we have been crying. So we are looking for a way to right the wrong. So how can you take a piece from your chef and take it to China that you want to reproduce it? We don't have any agreement for you to do that. This is something that have been stolen. We are asking for it. Then you are it's like adding, the way we call it, adding salt to
Insult to injury. Yeah.
So if you even want to, just like the way you commissioned me to make that plaque, so it's a way of helping us, or there's a language they use, taking back to the community where this. No, it's like
a reparation.
the money you paid is going back to the gate. So yeah, it's a way of helping us to. I cannot call it compensation, but it's a way of helping us by giving us work to do. Because I have about people that are working with me, about 8 of them have families at home, and we are working. I told you, I don't work on the piece alone. We all work together as a family. But there are some areas I must sit down, and especially the West modeling. So we all work together. So you see, they're expecting me to come back now. So, so the kind of things we want from museums is a way of how can you assist us? How can you assist us so this bronze can thrive? Not by taking the ones you have with you to go and replicate in China. If you want to replicate it, let it go through that same channel with which the originals were made. The people that made those ones there, they are not spirits, they are human beings. Now that we will have more modern equipment, I saw some of the big works at the bottom. They could not make it smooth, maybe because of the equipment they had then. I saw some of them. Some are very unique.
Those were the 3D printed in steel ones, were they? Yes, they were.
Which?
From Iboku?
Yes, the ones they brought, yes. Yes. So, that of Iboku, I don't really have power or right over there. But that of Benin, I don't advise any person to do that. We are still existing. We are still there. So, by the time you come, you try maybe 1 or 2 pieces, you are not satisfied with it. Even that does not give you the right to go to China and so we are still very much, and we can replicate those works. We can replicate.
Yeah, exactly. Why use technology that doesn't need to be used when you could actually go to people who practice the craft.
That's
the
very
craft
much
planner.
so.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing like this is the one that was done by their father maybe about 500-600 years ago. Now look at the generation, and you put them side by side. So that's the reason why I'm happy this one is here. And I just want it to be there. So by the time maybe people come from the museum in Lagos or the palace, I want there to be a dispute that no, this one is from the loot. So by the time maybe at the back they just say a name and the dates, and there'll be pictures or videos while I was working on it for them to know it's recent.
I mean, for our listeners, it was April Fool's Day whilst Phil was here with us, and we did put the bell that he bought in amongst the other bells in the collection, and asked museum staff to whether they could tell which one it was, and it was very difficult. So the challenge is real. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the work that the museum is commissioning you to produce, because I think we as a museum thought it's really important to come to people who know how to bronze cast and produce new works and commission new things to have. What are you working on?
It's up to 3 months now. We started. So Dr. Chris Martin said what they're having a project making the museum. So he said that they like me to replicate a plaque, and the title of the plaque was looting of the palace, of the Oba's palace in 1897. When I saw that topic, I was just thinking, what do I do? We're looking at pictures. The pictures I wanted to work on were the regular pictures. Those ones you have the British soldiers with the loot around them. But later I was just thinking looting. Looting is like a present continuous, I'm right? Present continuous looting. Not it. So that's in the heart. That's okay. So just palace. When you say looting of the palace, so we need to depict the palace with the roof, with the way it was. Then the walls, horizontal, those are lines, those models. So then the long door with this. So and the altar, because the main loot, were done on the altar, and then the way we were able to present it. One side of that was why the museum asked for a sketch before I could proceed. You said that's stage one. That is necessary. I send you the sketch, which is very good, and you made a few corrections. So on the plaque, on one side you have, let me say before 1897, the way the palace was, that the complete altar. You see something better when it's finished. So the complete altar with the plaques on the wall, the way they were before 1897. Then on the other side, you can see the way it was vandalized. Little or nothing left. And you see them trying to go out with the loot. And they stood there by the door. So we've never done anything like this. Like the ones I made for other museums, they just look at the picture reference. But this one is first of its kind. And we are happy back home that the only person that comes to the workshop see. So, you don't need to explain to them; they just know.
Yeah, we really love the way you've taken this theme and you've really enthusiastically sort of explored it. And as you say, you're telling a story with this plaque in a new way that you maybe haven't done before. So we're so excited about this work coming to Oxford later this year, and at some point sharing it with all of the visitors that come to the museum. So we think it's going to be an incredible new addition to the collection.
We're really excited that it's completely different
Yeah.
from everything else,
Exactly. You won't see anything like it anywhere else.
Yeah. And everybody, going forwards will be able to be like, oh yeah, that was Phil Madamwin. He was the first
I'm
person
so
to do
happy.
that.
Like my granddaughter was here when she was less than 2. She came, and I believe when she's grown up, she'll come again. And so we took pictures that day. So I'm very happy. It was a very unique day for our family, 3 generations. So by the time she comes, when she grows up, so I was young. So yeah. While the work is mounted, I will ask them to bring her again. I'll take a picture with her.
Yeah.
I was thinking, and Chris, you have this kind of beautiful vision of one day that plaque that we've commissioned being kind of the only object in the everything else has been returned, and this is this wonderful memory.
Yeah, I mean, as everyone will know, we're in the midst of a repatriation process, to which we've in principle agreed a large amount of that display case to be returned. So we do need to start thinking already about the future of it. And I want there to be a Kingdom of Benin display in the museum. I don't want that space to go and be repurposed for some other display if the repatriation happens quickly. So it's good that we've got some new works in the pipeline, and as Phil reminds us, what is old was once new.
Yes.
And we can do a different display, and it'd be great. I think this piece will become the centerpiece for a new display in the future, and hopefully other pieces that could maybe come from Phil's workshop could be added to it. So it's got a future, and I think it will be as engaging, or perhaps more engaging, for audiences than even the existing display, because there will still be historical works in it, and it's important that there are still historical works in it. But I think people are equally interested, as we found out this last couple of weeks, in the tradition as it exists today, and the longevity of the brass casting tradition in Benin, and who's still making these works. I think people are fascinated by that.
I think we've really seen that over the past couple of days at the Forge, where people have been walking past and walking through, and no one has been able to resist putting their head round the corner to be like, what is going on here? This sounds amazing. Beth, I know you wanted to ask a few questions about this.
So Phil, you spent the past couple of days, and it's been a wonderful process for all of us on the project, in that you've been in a local blacksmith's forge, which was founded in 1778 in Banbury, so about half an hour's drive from Oxford. And you've been working there to cast objects in England. And that was quite a different process for you, because you're using very unfamiliar kind of workshop tools. Even the fire and the materials used to kind of stoke the forge were very different. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what that experience was like.
It was a new one and a pleasant one. Me working with a local forge here in the UK. The way the kind of equipment that was used there is different from the one we use back home. Like firing the objects, we have a separate oven with which we do fire with firewood. But here, the works were fired in the same spot with this crucible, which we don't normally do that way. And if one is not very careful monitoring the modes, you lose them. We almost lost one yesterday. So thank God we put them out on time. And though it was so fast, because I thought maybe it would take about 2 hours, but in less than an hour they were ready. They were ready. And I have some challenges. You see, by the time the base was, by the time you take it close to the source of it, becomes very soft. But while we were there, by the time you take it close to it, as you are leaving, go back to the former stage. So I couldn't stretch my wax because of the weather was not friendly.
It was a cold, it was quite a chilly April day, and the wax was not behaving. No.
I think the weather is not friendly is the best description of British weather we've had.
Maybe in the future, if we want to do a wax mold, then we can just look for a place that's very maybe warm, that's to be proper, how do I put it? Proper cased.
Yes,
yes. But the casting, we can do it in anywhere, but just the modeling. Even it was so strong to work on.
I mean, you made some incredible objects, though, despite these challenges, which are also going to be incredible additions to the museum.
Yeah.
And I know that you received a piece of blacksmith a tool was given to you by Ems the blacksmith, wasn't it? Could you say what that was?
It's your cat. No.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
Thank you. It's a pair of tongs.
Pair of tongs.
Yes, like the one we use at home. It's just a straight tongue. But this one, at the tip, with the way it was curved.
Yes. Oh, you have straight tongs, do you?
Yes, straight. You just take it and...
But this one had
but this one you don't
like
have
an L shape at the top.
this one, you just turn your...
Yeah.
Yes, turn your bottom. So, I want to take it back, or maybe we can make a bigger one of that.
Yeah. That's great. So, a bit of Banbury tool, blacksmith's tool going back to Benin City. That's great.
And then you also left a crucible there, so a bit of your workshop.
I want her to experiment with that.
Yeah.
So if she can maybe make some bangles, or let us start something with that. Maybe in the future, maybe I can work with her. Nobody knows. But let us start. Again, it will pass. There was a time they came to my dad, like the crankshaft, was it Peugeot there? They brought it for my father to produce it for them with sand casting. We just take the mold. We are casting that car parts. So there are so many parts we can produce outside our traditional work.
Yeah.
We can do, but it's just that there's no agency to assist us. So we are just limited. Limited. We can usable items, even the legs of a chair. We can do so many things, but there's no support, nothing. So the vision is very black. So we cannot. The environment is not conducive for us to see the future. We are just thinking about na. So many challenges back home. You see money, you get money in millions, but before you finished, it's only big when you hear it, but by the time you're spending it, it's gone.
So I just wanted to ask you quickly about the commissions that you get now typically. I mean, obviously you're working for museums in Europe and America, but you also have some Nigerian patrons, don't you, who are either sort of they're art lovers or enthusiastic about bronzes. Could you maybe talk about the sort of your order book? What does your order book look like? And
most of my clients in Nigeria are expatriates and consulates. They are diplomats in Nigeria. So because most Nigerians, they don't really appreciate our work. And some of them, by the time they buy, for you to get your payment from them is a problem. Even some chiefs in Benin. So even when my father was like, he never worked for them. So we look at the kind of people we work for. Then my major client for about 5 years now has been Senator Daisy Tajima. So I really need to appreciate her anyway, because of the work she has commissioned me to do, even in a new hospital. It's a very big hospital. There's a mother and child. I mean for her.
So Daisy Danjuma, she is a former politician.
Yes.
Very high, important politician.
Yes.
And what does she do now? She's in business now.
No, she's in business.
Right.
This BOC in the UK. They are into business. They have properties everywhere. So she's a philanthropist. So
yeah. And what sort of objects does she like? What does she want? Traditional pieces or
traditional in our houses.
In their houses.
In our houses, everywhere filled up, even in Spain. So in one of her birthdays, so I traveled with her to Marbella. So when I got there, I took some walks there. And she was not showing me, I bought this from your dad many years ago. I saw some of my dad's work. Might be a very nice place to be.
Yeah, very much.
It's just to draw the attention of the girls. They are not deaf.
What do you think will stick with you the most from this visit?
Just the hospitality I received from you. That's just it. It's just that I'm later getting used to coffee when I'm leaving. She's been talking to me, coffee. I said, no, you people do too much coffee. I said, no. But I must appreciate right from the very day we came at the airport, from there till now, you have been caring. You ask a question when we have a lunch, that their question was the best from the place I visited.
something around, the hospitality you've
Yes.
received from the different visits you've made to
Yes.
European museums and things. And
No, I think you asked which of the place do I like best.
Yes.
I told you I cannot say I like a place when the people are not friendly. So again, I want to say thank you for your support and collaboration.
the thanks are really due to you for your generosity and your sharing, and you're a modest man, but your work is truly outstanding, and it's been a pleasure having you, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolute delight.
And we're really looking forward to having you back soon.
Oh, yeah. It's just the beginning.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, until next time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Making the Pit Rivers Museum. We hope you've enjoyed hearing all about our collaboration with Phil. Those of you with memories for detail might have noticed that this episode did not feature the Maori musician Ariana Takao as previously billed. We wanted to release this episode to align with our unveiling of Phil's commissioned piece for the museum. If you'd like to see the piece in all its glory before it's given a collections number and added to the online catalogue, do go and check out the museum's social media posts from the week of the 24th of November 2025. I'm sure you are all keen to hear from Ariana, so keep your eyes peeled for the release of our next episode, which should come around a lot sooner than our usually sporadic schedule allows. Until then, we've been making the museum.
Excellent.
Sorry, we've made you talk a lot today.
So they all have different sounds.